Hey guys, welcome to day 1 of my free drawing challenge. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to start drawing. Because drawing is the most obvious way that illustrators use to express their ideas. But drawing also means different things to different people. Like some people think that they have to learn to draw properly by learning all the proportions and shading, the academic way of drawing. Whereas some people just want to be able to express their ideas freely. The contemporary approach of teaching drawing in the top UK art universities is leaning towards drawing as self-expression. So the good news is you don't have to become a master in figurative arts if you want to become an illustrator. So here are my 3 tips of how to kickstart your own drawing practice. Tip number 1 is to get a sketchbook and draw from life regularly as much as you can. In the beginning, a pencil and a blank sheet of paper can become the most scary thing in the world, so I understand how you feel. But it's important to get into the right mindset so that you can just draw freely. Remember that feeling when you were a kid and you just enjoyed drawing and it was just a fun activity? That's basically the kind of mindset that you need to try and set for yourself. The aim of drawing from life is to become comfortable with your own self-expression. So, for example, if your style is a little bit naive or loose, you don't have to beat yourself up for it. Instead, you can embrace it as part of your style. Don't compare yourself to other people who you think can draw better than you. Remember that there are even people who are academically trained who can draw anything that they like in a perfect, realistic style. And even those people struggle when it comes to illustration, because even though they can create something, they can draw something in a correct way, they really struggle when they have to express themselves and make a drawing more personal and unique, which is what illustration is all about. So don't compare yourself to others, embrace your imperfections and just go for it. So just to remind you, the first tip was to try and draw from life. Try and draw whatever you see around you, for now in any way that you possibly can. The tip number 2 is to try doodling from imagination. Or you can try and draw from references such as photographs or other illustrations or pictures. This is still drawing, and it's good to just at this stage try and do anything you can to get more comfortable just with drawing, just with pushing the pencil along the paper. At this time you need to be brave and accept that mistakes will happen. You will not create that masterpiece on day 1, and it's okay. You also have to be brave to exaggerate some parts of the reference image. For example, if you're drawing a person, you can make some body parts much bigger or much smaller. Don't be afraid to do that. You have to be okay with your development sketches and just not judge them so much at this stage. It's actually really funny to me how the success in illustration and drawing mostly depends on how confident you are with yourself, how you can just look past the judgment and be okay with the drawings in your sketchbook. So if you're starting to doodle, you can start with some simple shapes, like even circles, squares, and just keep drawing them over and over again, or some really simple motifs, like plants are great for that, or some patterns, like really simple things like dashes, dots, spirals and things like that. And then you can start combining them to create more complex shapes such as people, animals or plants. The third thing you can do to start drawing straight away is to copy other people's work, but for educational purposes only. So I need to make it clear that I'm not asking you to copy something to try and pass it as your own artwork. That's not cool. Even though right now I am kind of like against copying, but when I think back on my own journey, I actually started like that as well, because I didn't have enough confidence in drawing from life in the beginning. Even though I was pushing myself to do some drawing from life, it was really scary for me. So the right way of copying someone's art is to actually pick an image by an artist that you really like, and then try to pick the same materials that that artist is using. So you need to do it in 2 steps. The first step is simply copy the picture exactly the way that you see, and try to use the same materials that the artist is using, and try to use it in the same way. Like if it's expressive brush strokes, you try and recreate the same feeling. And the second step is actually to take the same technique that you've just learned by copying and apply it to your own drawing. And this second step is super important, because this step helps you to develop your own style. If you just copy other people's work and that's it, you are not going to develop your own style. And to be a successful artist and illustrator, you have to stand out from the others. You have to show them who you are as a person and as an artist. So it's very important that you do step 2, even though it's a little bit more scary. I really hope that you found this video useful. And now on to the second video, where I will talk about the most common drawing mistakes of beginner artists.